Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And today we're going to jump back into Battle Angel Alita, created, written, and drawn by Yukito Kishiro. And we're not going to mess around, we're not wasting any more time because there's only a couple more volumes left in the series here. And here we are in Volume 8, War Chronicle. And if you missed the last part, I highly suggest you go back into the playlist and get caught up. But basically, once again, we're introduced to more new characters, including Luke Collins with the Grand Inspection Bureau, who's working with Alita now, and the human character known as Kaos, who is the son of Desty Nova, and his cyborg counterpart Den, who is like the bad form of Kaos in the cyborg form, who's being controlled by Desty Nova, and it's all sorts of crazy stuff is going on. So we're not going to mess around. We're just going to jump right into it. Basically, Alita is still pursuing her father figure, Dr. Ido, trying to figure out if he's still alive out there because Desty Nova had killed him many volumes back, but said there was a way to bring him back, and she's still got to hold him to it. And it starts off here with Den laying siege to all the factories around the Scrapyard. You see all the X's mark all the factories that he's conquered, really the left side there, and there's Zalem. He's making his push to bring Zalem down, and that's where Alita is over there. The ruins of where Kaos was excavating. Kaos had a radio broadcast where he sort of rallied the troops, rallied all the citizens to be optimistic. And you see here, Den has kind of brokered a deal with Vector. You may remember him from early on with his whole story with Yugo and trying to buy Yugo up to Zalem, and really he's sort of the mob boss of the crime syndicate. And Koyomi here, who was a little girl in the very beginning of the series. From Volume 1, we've skipped about 10 years now. We've passed 10 years in time. And Koyomi has grown up, and she's working for Den now. She sees that the Zalemites are evil, and they're putting the people in the Scrapyard down. And she's working with Den now. And so then this is Luke Collins here, who's Alita's new friend, associate rather, with Zalem, sort of giving her orders with the Grand Inspection Bureau. And this is her director here, Bigott Eisenberg, and he's like no nonsense. She's kind of yappy, and he has that face where he's like, I'm not putting up with this nonsense. So what had happened? Oh, look at that! You get Alita for she's got a new outfit now. But what happened was there was a big kerfuffle in the last issue with Den and Kaos. Let me just show you Kaos again. He had like this katana. That's Den right there. But Kaos had this katana, and he had lost control. In his human form, he's sort of like this gentle man, but Den is like his alter ego, and it takes over from time to time. And so you see him walking with a cane, and they brought him back here, and they got to have one last broadcast. So that's the name of this chapter here, to rally the troops and give them hope, to not lose hope here as Den's laying siege to the Scrapyard. And he's telling a story on the radio broadcast about how he was a little boy. He's the son of Desty Nova. And he had given him a bird. Well, it started out as an egg in a cage here, and he watched the bird grow up. And he saw him and he was flapping his wings. He's like, oh, I want to let the bird out. And he lets the bird out, right? And it flies away. And Desty Nova, being the psychopath he is, I can't believe you were stupid enough to release it. Didn't you know that flying beneath Zalem is a crime? And the bird flies, obviously, and gets shot down by one of the defense systems there, and he's telling that story, and he's just all upset. And everyone in the Scrapyard is listening. You see Den's listening, Koyomi's listening. Figure 4, where's our boy Figure 4? Even Vector's listening after he got all roughed up by Den there. And there's Shumira with her 8 kids. Even Bigott Eisenberg is listening. And this psychopath, Desty Nova's listening.
Yeah, well said, that's my son talking. He speaks of conquering karma. There's no fighting your blood, is there, Professor?
Oh, I don't know why I did Desty Nova's voice. That was his associate, Eagle Eye. That was her name. You met her a few issues back. I think back in Volume 5 or whatever. So they're rallying the troops here. And this is one of the farms that hasn't been conquered yet by Den. And they had received word that Dr. Ido might be hanging out around here, and she's recalling the fact that Desty Nova had said that he was going to bring Dr. Ido back to life, and she's been looking for him now for 10 years. But she's thinking, oh, I hope he's not brought back like a evil cyborg, like Mukako was or Zapan was. And she sees Dr. Ito runs right by Alita and doesn't even recognize her. And she's like, uh-oh, that's not good. So meanwhile, Kaos is he's going on his own way. Alita wanted to go in by herself, and Kaos was waiting out there, but he's just going. He wants to go meet his father, go face to face with him. So Alita goes to where Dr. Ito was and runs into all these cyborgs and a little girl who's sort of similar to Alita, similar features. And I guess Dr. Ito has that sort of fetish where he never had a daughter and he wants to have one or something. So Alita starts, making quick work of these guys, and he's like, oh, no, enough fighting. And she's like, oh, Ito, it's me, it's Alita. And he doesn't even recognize her, huh? So, she's just all sad that Dr. Ito doesn't remember her. And what happens is the other girl here says that she met him a long time ago and said if any of his old friends came around, she was supposed to show him this, and it's an old disc here. So Alita starts looking at the disc. And it's Dr. Ito after his surgery. He says, I'm on the borderline right now, somewhere between sanity and madness. I don't have much time. I was killed, then recreated with Nova's perfect tech. If anything, I feel even younger than before. He wanted to make me his assistant, but I fought against his hellish human experiments to try to shut them down. And then Nova said, if you learn the Zalemite secret, you'll change your mind. The Zalemite secret! And he starts laughing like a madman. And now that I know the secret, I understand the motive behind Nova's experiments all too well, but I fear that my mind might not be able to withstand the weight of the truth. I don't think I could ever be the old me again. Goodbye. Goodbye, Scrapyard. Goodbye, my loved ones. I have decided to erase my memories for good. Goodbye. I'm sorry, Alita. Please, for my sake, find happiness, with tears rolling down his eyes. Goodbye. So, turns out he can't remember who Alita was because he decided to wipe his memory. How sad is that? And Alita leaves with tears coming down her face as well, screaming out Ito's name. I mean, how tragic is that? So, that got me. I mean, this book has been pretty emotional. I mean, aside from all the action and everything going on, there's a lot of characters that die, a lot of emotional scenes like that. It's pretty tragic, I have to say. So, Alita's on her way here to meet up with Desty Nova and sees this hooded figure, and it's Alita, but with a 2 on her head. So, Director Eisenberg takes control of the headset here. Then I suppose I shall explain. This is the tuned AR Series 2, our mass production unit. She is your upgraded model A1, that's Alita. So, uh-oh. And then he reveals the fact that they had been studying Alita all these years, and that because Alita has her own motives, obviously, to get Desty Nova herself and meet up with Dr. Ito again, she's kind of not really listening to the director and all the other people from Zalem, and she's kind of going her own way, like you saw before when she was working with Figure 4 and Jorg against Knucklehead and those guys with the Barjack. She was kind of disobeying orders. So they've created this AR2 unit who looks just like Alita, and you can see they have a battle here, and they're really matching each other blow for blow here. I mean, every move Alita makes, AR2 counters, and every move AR2 makes Alita counters, and it's a complete stalemate. And the fact is that AR2 listens to the Zalemites, whereas Alita has her own conscience. And you see Alita delivers a devastating blow there, and you see it's kind of like the Terminator with Arnold getting that, when his part of his face was missing. So just back and forth, complete great action here. No! So, Eisenberg's watching from above, and he's getting ready to unleash one last move to really end Alita once and for all. And Lou Collins, who in the last volume I was like, oh, she's freaking annoying as hell, but she actually grows a pair here and pulls the gun on one of the other associates, pulling the strings here, and says, stop, leave my friend alone. And, put to a stalemate, and AR2 actually rips Alita's eyeball out and starts eating Alita's eyeball. I mean, just craziness here. Wow. And then she's got her in like the arm lock and rips her arm off. Look at that. Boom. And even Eisenberg is quaking in his boots. He's like, calm down, Miss Collins. What are you doing? So good. And just like Alita has that Damascus blade and pulls out the Damascus blade and cuts off one of Alita's arms. And Alita's completely defenseless here. Losing an arm, losing an eyeball. And she gets memories of Ed. You might remember Ed was back from the Motorball arc, who actually gave Alita the Damascus blade and she's getting all these flashbacks from all her friends from Jasugun. To this flashback she had, I don't think we ever got this guy's name, but he had a sort of flashback when she was battling Jasugun and gave her the confidence to use her moves. There's Mukako again. There's Den. There's Koyomi, Knucklehead, Figure 4, and Zapan. And lying there defeat. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm just so tired. And cue the Linkin Park. I got so far and tried so hard. No, wait a minute. It's I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, doesn't even matter. But Alita, she's given up. She's absolutely given up, and she's lying there, getting ready to be struck down. And she's thinking of Yugo. I can see Yugo again. And Lou pulls the gun and fires not at any of the people in Zalem up there, but at the computer, and is able to shut down AR2 for Alita to make one last blow and defeat AR2, decapitating her with the Damascus blade there. And I don't know why they haven't like arrested Lou here, but you know, Bigott Eisenberg here just is like, whew, he puts out like a huff there. So Alita's missing an arm and an eyeball, and is on her way. And then you hear Eisenberg up here says, activate units AR1 through AR12 for use against Barjack. So they got 12 other Alitas? Oh my god, if one Alita could do that much damage, what are the 12 Alitas going to do? So here's Kaos on his way to Norad Mountain, which is also known as the Granite Inn, and Dr. Ido's headquarters. And he opens up to this insane, like, amusement park looking place. And these horses here, and you might think that they're robotic horses, but no, there's like drool coming out. They're alive horses running around the carousel, and all sorts of craziness with the crazy laugh. You know, Desty Nova's crazy laugh here. My son, welcome home, and then it cuts back to Alita. And Eisenberg is back in her headset here, and he's like, on your feet. We've got rid of Luke Collins now. I'm in charge now. This is your final mission. I think you'll be free of being tuned. So I don't know why Alita's even listening to him after what she just was put through, but she's doing it for Figure 4. She gets flashbacks. You know, they had a sort of romantic embrace the last time they met, and you know, she's like, all right, I got to do it for Figure, right? Despite not seeing him for a while. So then Kaos shows like the metal part in his body and alludes to the fact that that's the den in him, but he's really a noble human, and cuts to Den and Koyomi. Look at Koyomi. She's got like the Desty Nova evil laugh, and this is the Barjack here laying siege to all the you know, factories and the scrapyard. And one of those horses, the live horses on the carousel, just breaks free of the carousel and ends up killing itself. How gruesome is that? And then Kaos is just looking so devastated, and all Desty Nova says, that's a foolish horse. This is a lesson to you, Kaos. And he's eating his flan like a complete crazy person. He pulls out his katana, tries to duel Desty Nova, but it's really just a hologram, and there's all the other holograms showing up in the mirrors saying, oh, that's not me. And then it cuts over here to he's got him in this illusion where he's putting his hand in this brain, and it's like, what is going on here? It's getting all trippy and stuff. And then to the real world here where he's putting his hand in an experiment and it's making a crazy face. Oh my god, how nuts is this Desty Nova? He's absolutely lost his mind. So Alita finally makes her way here to his headquarters, still with, you know, missing an arm and I guess missing a leg too. I must have missed that where she lost her leg too. And here's the Barjack here with their railway gun, the Heng. Look at that. And they're getting ready to point this gun up at Zalem, at the support pillar in Zalem. And getting ready to fire it and just end Zalem once and for all. And they got this one human who's like the cameraman, and he's kind of a weirdo, but he's chronicling it all, and he's in love with Alita because he you know, I guess he just shows up at the right place at the right time, and he just takes pictures of everybody. And he took a picture of Alita from the last volume when she was in her bridal gown, when you know, Kaos was in love with her for that minute. And he's like a sick fuck. You see here that he's like snoozing this girl here, and then he stabs her and kills her. All the blood's, he's like just wants to kill everybody, I guess. He's into that. So they're loading up Hang here, the railway gun, and they're getting ready to fire it right at you know, Zalem. And this sort of angel being shows up, And what number we got here? We got number 10. Remember, Eisenberg said that there's 12 other units, and this one shows up and pretty much blocks it. You cannot win this battle, surrender! And he thinks that that's Alita. It's the Angel of Death. Holy crap, look at that. She's on the gun itself. Kaboom! All the citizens are just, it's a mix here in the scrapyard working for the Barjack. There's sort of, some of them are cyborgs, some of them are humans. And Den's like, what? How did I not break the pillar? So Eisenberg here's got all his other weapons, and from Zalem they have their own sort of missiles that they fire back, and they fire it right back at their gun, and they pretty much destroy all the Barjack forces here. Really, the only ones that make it alive are Koyomi, Den, and whoever wasn't near the rubble there. But Koyomi is sort of a main character, and Fang makes a last stand effort here. The dog that sort of been watching over her, makes a last stand to protect her. And Koyomi thinks that that's Alita, but she eventually comes to the realization, obviously, it's not Alita. It's a evil robot that's working for Zalem. So, some good stuff here with all this action going on. And the cameraman dies, and he's like, oh, here, take the camera. You must be my living legacy. And he just sort of dies there. He vomits. Crazy. And then Den shows up with just the lone Koyomi surviving, and he takes her in, takes her aboard, and they rally the rest of the troops. Like I said in a previous video, that it's like the Mad Max army, and Den's ready to take him on. So then, once again, it cuts back to Alita, back with Desty Nova here, and now Nova has his son there, Kaos, on the stretcher, ready to do experiments on him, I guess. And there's his other, his like Renfield there, Bizarre, and he's, yes, master, I will do as you say. Look at his face. Snort, I found her, man. So, Alita is doing what she's doing best here, and Kaos is having this internal struggle between himself and Den. And then what happens is it turns out that it's all an elaborate trap for Alita. And she is in a dreamlike sequence here where she meets Jasugun. And she's like, how am I meeting Jasugun? Because he had died. And they have one last showdown here. But obviously it's not real. It's going on in Alita's mind here. I've been talking mostly about the story here, but the artwork is so incredible. Just the way all these characters are drawn. You see the emotions. I mean, everyone's always crying here, but the emotions of Alita, because she had seen him as a sort of a, master figure, like to teach her and whatnot. And Eisenberg is completely lost his mind here. What is the meaning of this? And you see what happens here is that, she's having this dreamlike sequence because Desty Nova has kidnapped her in what's known as the Arboros, and it's put her in this dreamlike sequence. And through all this, look at this dog. I just noticed that just now. And look at Kaos. Alita, help! Through all this, Desty Nova finally reveals that he's the mastermind behind it all, and even Eisenberg's working for him. And they want to recruit him back to Zalem to fulfill their ultimate goals and all their experiments. And he's like, I shall return. Very well. I have little interest in Zalem, but ladder changes it. So ladder is like the whole universal scale, like outside of Earth. And this just opens things up to so many possibilities. And once again, this is back to her dreamlike sequence where she's undergoing a Motorball game with Jasugun one last time. And so good. I love this character, Jasugun. Just the way he's drawn looks so cool. Look at that right there. Wow. Just like crazy martial arts stuff. Oh, man. So, eventually, Alita defeats him. I know we're getting a little long here. We're going to be over 20 minutes on this one. But we're almost there. Pages are all sticking together at the end. But eventually, Alita defeats him. And he says, you've reached the heights I could not. Finally, someone has bested me. And she wakes up, and everyone's all shocked here at the end here. From Nova to Eisenberg to Kaos, and she wakes up What incredible willpower! She awoke from the Arboros all on her own! And this ends Volume 8, War Chronicle. And there's one more volume, Volume 9, Conquest. And that is the final volume in this Battle Angel Alita. And then it moves on to Battle Angel Alita, The Last Order, which is the sequel series. But basically, I know at the end I sort of kind of rushed it, but what had happened is they sort of had the false pretense that, you know, Bigott, Eisenberg, and all them and Zalem were trying to hunt down Desty for his crimes, when in all actuality, they're all working for him. And what could he have in store in the final volume, and what are his true motives? I guess we'll find out in the final volume. But yeah, I highly recommend this series. It's incredible. Like I said, you get all these 2-in-1s. What are they? They're about $30. You can get them online around like $20 if you look around. And there's a complete box set with all 5 of the deluxe editions. That's like $90. So if you want to check that out. But yeah, stay tuned next week for when we wrap up the series. And then I guess I'll move on to The Last Order. This is incredible. So much fun, this manga. I really hope... I mean, the first movie, I got introduced to it by watching the movie by James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez. And I really hope they make a sequel, because that first movie just covers from the origins to Motorball. There's so much of this other cool stuff going on. I'd say this stuff at the end here is... the Motorball was fun, but this stuff at the end is just takes it to a whole nother level. It's so good. So I know we're a little long here. I'm going to cut it off right now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.